I would invite the next panelist of our session, Dr. S. Rao, who has worked as a senior advisor in Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology. Welcome, sir. Sir, we would like to hear from you what are your suggestions and recommendations after listening to the previous sessions that we have.
In fact, first of all, I thank Vigyan Prasar, the organizer for this event, for giving me the opportunity. And when Madam Sheila Joshi was talking, in fact, after my retirement from the government, very senior position, I am now taken up a job as a vice president in the healthcare group. I'm talking from an hospital, tertiary teaching hospital. I regulate about 600 doctors here. So that is my job at the moment. So it's a very, very heartwarming that you mentioned about anemia. Just now somebody entered. I think let me put on my stopwatch because I don't want to take more time. We're already late. So let me start. Okay. So what happened was servant maid was just fallen up, just fell down after 2 hours of work serving me. And my wife was working in Delhi, so she was dependent on her. When I brought her in the morning, they found that she has only 3% anemia, the hemoglobin, and she is admitted immediately. Maybe I have to cook today at night. But it is no. So anemia is very rampant, not only where the Madhya Pradesh, but here in Tamil Nadu and many places. And in fact, people like Dr. Yula Joshi's early initiatives have been responsible for the present national mission on Anemia Mukt Bharat, the National Health Mission. Many of the lessons learned from the madam's experience have been put into practice in this particular mission program initiated by Prime Minister under Poshan Abhiyan program. So the government very much has realized as a major program at the national level. But having said that, promoting local innovation, local intervention, healthcare, agriculture, as well as rural development has not been new. There have been a lot of experiments. The organizations like Honeybee, National Institute of Foundation, then Srishti, Vigyan, a lot of organizations came up to promote local innovation. And overall, it has been realized that a huge country, equivalent to many small countries of Europe, the one design doesn't work. One design in one area doesn't work. Communities are different, castes are different, habits are different, behaviors are different, language is different. It's a very, very amazing story that goes on. As you saw in the month, somebody was talking in Telugu in the morning, and they're being translated for the desalinity oil, water issues. So I think one particular model doesn't suit to all. Therefore, anything which is implemented cannot be dependent on one model. One of the important things is that there is a program, and because I come from a very high-tech area, there is a program called Biodesign, the Stanford Bio Design Program, Stanford University. What happens there is people who are learned people, engineers, doctors, scholars, social scientists, and then businessmen, investors, they all scout for innovations. They sit with around the doctors, in hospitals, local situations, see what improvements can be done on the local innovation, and also design around that. So what we have to do is to promote, first of all, there may be hundreds of local innovations which we are not aware of it, even though there are many organizations. So the first important step for me, there should be a policy for schools, colleges, and institutions of more doctors and engineers to scout for local innovations. Scouting for local innovations, for improvement, for further innovation, or designing them to suit to the local needs is very, very important. Based on the designs available. This is where hundreds of projects came out to Stanford University, even from National Design Institute of US. Most of these vaccine files were designed from there, even for the health sector. Simple. The other important thing I know one of the best programs where such collective action for promoting local innovation as a spare time opportunity or a full-time mandatory opportunity was also initiated by long ago by Chinese government. Program is called SPARK, SPARK, and this SPARK program, what Chinese did was thousands of engineers were mobilized rural areas to identify what type of innovations are possible, which can be scaled up, commercialized, if not protected by IPR. Many times when you say innovation, a lot of the pundits will say, oh, you should have a patent, you should have a copyright. Doesn't matter, copyright or patent, as far as it benefits local people. So as a result, the Spark products, including small needles, and then paper pins, and then toys, they were all made into what you call a government-aided program, along with the engineers and doctors, helping the rural community to promote innovations. So there is it should be a national campaign to promote a local innovation. Right. Then also we have to also assess the situation where we can have new innovation to this mission. And finally, I think I agree with Dr. Joshi's experience that sustainability and also follow-up are very important. You just initiate some project for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it will not sustain. Second important thing is capacity building. Ultimately, nobody can stay in those places where innovation is happening. The people who are involved should move on one locality to another locality. So you have to build local capacity to sustain those local innovations and also create enough skill set for them to further improve from time to time to improve those technologies. And then lastly but not least is that the Atal Innovation Mission has realized this actually. It's not that first time we're talking about promoting local innovation. Atal Innovation Mission has realized this. What they have done, they are making innovation clubs or innovation kiosks in the panchayats and small places so that the farmers, instead of playing cards, smoking here and there, come and sit and think, अरे क्या कर सकते हैं हमारे इसमें, हम कैसे improve कर सकते हैं, या how do you increase the spray? For example, I know yesterday there was an engineer boy who left all that and then working in a village. He has developed a very simple drone which can spray acres in its farmer of pesticide, and that will save a lot of 50% of pesticide and also very targeted application. So the innovation cannot be always some very small thing. It could be in the healthcare, it could be in agriculture, it could be small technology, it could be medium technology, it could be high technology. So anything is feasible. So we should not close our doors for the high technology is only for urban areas and rural technologies are different. So this particular divide of rural and urban, first of all, should completely die. Long ago, there was IIT director who said a concept of Pura. Pura is urban amenities in local rural areas. Providing urban amenities in rural areas. What is wrong in having a small workshop in the rural areas, which is sponsored by investors or anybody, so that people will find out their own requirements. Tell them small skills. And then secondly, the other important thing is, you should have a 10th standard or going into IITs. All these things should be removed at the rural level. They should be given free skills because it's plumbing or drilling, these exercises or design making or using a computer. People are using mobile left and right, even on the street, without knowing after 10th class and 3rd class. So there is also need for promoting all types of technologies without any hesitation, that it is urban or rural. So overall, although there are organizations, there are isolated examples of great success. Point number one design doesn't work. Point number two, there may be many technologies which we don't know in the local area, they are hidden. So there is a need for a scouting of these technologies. Three, involvement of technocrats, engineers, doctors on a large scale like China to mobilize these technologies for a commercial gains and also off-farm sustainability of farmers. The fourth thing is we should not bother about IPR or intellectual property protection as far as it benefits skill development and capacity building. The last one is that we should have an equal opportunity in terms of giving imparting technological tools and techniques to even those people who do not have a minimum qualifications. Don't go for a minimum qualification. Talent rests everywhere. So, driving a cycle, driving a motorcycle does not require any test stand. So therefore, we should be the technological tools and techniques and skills to be freely available, either it should not be gender based or education based, community based or caste based. So such type of system has to be developed at the local level. Then I'm sure the innovation will spur and we'll have more and more stories like Dr. Leela Joshi in all sectors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. One more, like we have one more gem in the hat today. Like the one design in one area doesn't work. Like the model that you gave, that since every area is very unique, we need to have a different design for different areas, and we need to understand the different things that different problems, different local problems of the region, and similarly we need to think upon the different solutions for the local problems that we have, and also the local centers that you described upon for the people to engage in, so that they can understand that the problems are genuine, and this intelligent the like intelligence of the local people can be channelized to form solutions from the local problems. So that model, I think, we need to think upon, like one of the program of C division is there, community resilience centers, which is, I think, basically modeled around that only, so that community can be resilient, can be made resilient in the terms that the community will be the change maker only, they will be providing the solutions to that only. So I think that is one suggestion that like one recommendation that I would like request from you is that you have been at an administrative level, you have been working at the government level, and you have seen how the government works, and since so and after taking the feedbacks and the learning that we heard from the three technologies, so, what suggestions would you basically give the government as in the make as to make in the policy, so that we can have a better version of the existing policy, or like a small component that could be added into the policy?
Yeah, actually, well, to me, the word policy from the beginning, I never liked the word policy. What is we were required? We need a strategy. We need an action. The problem with policy is only statement, intention. But what we know is that policy has to be converted into strategy and action. Action has to be converted into the implementable, people, human resource, infrastructure, investment. Quite often, most of these technologies, like Narega or something, the way it is implemented is, I mean, I should not comment on it, either in the past or now. So the implementation problems are also there. Therefore, I agree with Dr. Leela Joshi. It is a community education. If the community says, मुझे ये चाहिए भैया, मतलब कोई पॉलिसी कर लो, स्ट्रेटजी कर लो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So the community demand is very important. Community capacity building is very important. And then telling them, you are good at some innovation, you can improve some innovation. And then, because that is why National Science Foundation and then SWIFT and all that. The moment you institutionalize, for example, you have one health concept, the animal and human health. Suddenly they made it one health institute. Now the problem is that policy of making an institute for everything, promoting local innovation, local innovate, one institute will make, and then we'll get all salaries. We're happy. So the thing is that the institutionalization at the community level is to be incorporated in the policy. And I'm very happy to say I'm nothing to do with the this government or that government. Everybody in the rural areas and every minister, most of the ministers come from rural areas. They actually know what is the problem. They have their own wish list, they have their own intentions. But the policy is afterwards paralyzed sometimes. Paralyzed policy will come. But many of the initiatives have been taken. The only best lesson I learned from Dr. Joshi, because of her, I heard her the third time, been hearing her. So the third, what is that lesson is that it is action, sustainability, and then updating ourselves. She has also mentioned something, as and when the community picked up, then the strategy became more and more enhanced, more people joined. So I think these three, four lessons from our experience. In fact, what I am saying, I'm inspired because I'm at a place where I'm telling you, I'm in the peak of college building, a tertiary medical college building. Above me, there are 600 admitted patients, and I was in the COVID year because from the government I came down completely on the ground. I made a co-vaccine clinical trial. So many things I am doing here. In fact, there are lots of people who come here with anemia. Anemia is so rampant. And most of them are women suffering because of the family. So, in fact, I'm inspired. I should thank Joshi, Madam Joshi, that I am now going to initiate something like this. So that government or no government, that the community should feel. Maybe I'll invite her, So that way, this exercise, Savi, what is your name, Savi, forgot. This exercise by Vigyan and the collaboration that the people are all making to make it happen. Was Savi Shinde, right? Savi
And
Shinde.
Tushar.
Usha. Oh yeah, Usha. So very nice. I enjoyed the all talks, and then thank you for the support.
Thank you so much, sir. Your very nice suggestion of making the government an action plan is very much important for the government to implement. And this suggestion would always remain with us, and we will include in the final suggestion list that we are making with this program. And one more gem has been added to the same.